The prairie night was quiet, the stars sharp above the endless stretch of land, when suddenly the crackle of flames broke the silence. A barn, old wood dry as tinder, had caught fire in a blaze so fierce it lit up the sky like dawn come too soon. The smoke curled upward black and choking, and from within came the terrified cries of a woman. She had been trapped, cornered by fallen beams and walls of fire that closed in tighter by the second. Her dress clung to her, smudged with ash, her breath ragged as she pressed herself against the scorching wall, praying anyone, would hear her. Out on the ridge, a lone rider thundered across the land, the fire pulling his gaze like a beacon. His name was Colton, a cowboy known more for his grit than his words, a man who carried scars that whispered of past battles, both with men and with life itself. He saw the barn glowing in ruin and his jaw tightened. He knew someone was inside. He could feel it in his bones. Without hesitation, he kicked his horse faster, closing the distance until the heat slapped him in the face. He leapt from the saddle, boots hitting the ground hard, and dashed straight into the inferno. Inside, smoke clawed at his throat. His eyes stung, but through the blaze he saw her, on her knees, coughing, her eyes wide with terror. She was young, hair tangled and face streaked with soot, yet there was a strength in her gaze even as fear gripped her. For one split second, time froze. Their eyes locked, and though they were strangers, something ancient passed between them. A promise neither had spoken, but both felt. "Hold on!" he shouted, his voice rough but steady, cutting through the roar of the flames. She tried to rise, but a beam blocked her path. Without a thought, Colton grabbed the burning wood, muscles straining, skin blistering under the heat as he heaved it aside. Sparks leapt around him, burning holes into his vest, but he didn't stop. He reached for her, scooping her up into his arms as if she weighed nothing, her small frame pressed against his chest. She clung to him instinctively, fingers clutching the fabric of his shirt, her heartbeat racing against his ribs. The barn groaned, timbers collapsing, but Colton charged forward, shielding her with his own body as he broke through the doorway into the night air. Flames chased after them, roaring behind, and as they stumbled clear, the roof gave way, crashing into a storm of sparks that shot into the heavens. He laid her down gently in the grass, but she didn't let go. Her eyes searched his face, trembling lips struggling for words. She wanted to thank him, but her voice caught in her throat. He leaned down, his hand brushing a smudge of soot from her cheek, his thumb lingering just long enough to make her shiver. "You're safe now," he murmured, but then, with a steel in his tone that left no room for doubt, he added, "You're mine." It wasn't a claim made out of pride or possession. It was a vow, a promise born in fire and smoke, one that told her she would never again face danger alone. She looked at him, her breath catching as tears welled in her eyes. Not of fear this time, but of release, of knowing that someone had stepped into the flames for her and come out stronger on the other side. Around them, the night carried the smell of charred wood, the distant crackling of what remained of the barn. But in that circle of grass where he held her, nothing else existed. His arms were her fortress, his presence her salvation. The stars above seemed dim compared to the fire in his gaze. Slowly she whispered, "Why would you risk everything?" He only gave a half smile, his eyes not leaving hers. "Because some things are worth burning for." She drew a shaky breath, her heart unraveling in that moment. She had been a prisoner not only in that barn, but in her own fears, her loneliness, her belief that no one would ever come. Yet here he was, a man who had charged through fire without a second thought, a man who saw her worth even when she could not. As he lifted her once more, carrying her toward his horse waiting at the edge of the field, she rested her head against his chest, listening to the steady rhythm of his heart. She felt safe, claimed not as property but as something cherished, valued and fought for. That night, the fire that had nearly consumed her instead forged something unbreakable between them. It wasn't just survival, it was destiny. And though the barn lay in ashes, something new had been born from the flames. Their story had just begun, but already it was stronger than the fire that had tried to end it. And as they rode off into the horizon, the glow of the dying fire behind them, she knew one truth with unshakable certainty. She belonged to him, and he to her, in a bond written in smoke, sparks and forever. Friends, if this story lit a spark in your heart, if you felt the fire of courage, love, and destiny between the cowboy and the woman he saved, then I invite you to ride with us further. Subscribe to the channel, because more powerful stories of the Wild West are waiting for you. Tales of bravery, passion, and love that stand unshaken in the face of danger. Don't miss the next chapter of courage. Saddle up, join the journey, and hit that subscribe button today.